Hi guys. It's been too long. Anyway, I'm good. I'm okay, I guess. Yeah. So today I don't have much. It's hectic. Hey, life is hectic. I think everyone can agree with me that of late life is super hectic, and for most of us, and hectic life means you try and balance and prioritize and all these things. So I think today I just wanted to talk about the toxicity of the people that we have in our lives, right? These could be your friends, your colleagues, and unfortunately even your family. So what am I talking about, right? So at work, you can find that, I think we've been seeing people on social media talking about how toxic their working environment is, talking about how they don't want to be there, but they're there because they do not have a choice, right? So one thing I've realized is that the workplace has nothing to do with it. Sometimes even your company has nothing to do with it, you know. It's just literally that person that, you are reporting to, or the person that is there around you that is just making life hard for you. But at the end of the day, it's people. So what I'm trying to say is that when we talk of, a toxic workplace, we're talking about people and not, any other thing. We're talking about the people that, surround you, that probably have to do with your daily deliverables. And one thing I've realized is that these people that go out of the way to make other people's lives miserable and everything like that, chances are they're miserable themselves, or they are scared of that person's potential. Because what I've been saying is that if there's anyone who's mistreating you, or who's, treating you in a way that it is uncalled for, you must look at those two things. For me, that's what I look at. Obviously, you can comment and, share your ideas and your thoughts, but that's what I think. It's one of two things. It's either they see your potential and they're scared of it. So that results in jealousy, which then they try and push to make sure that you don't reach that potential by making you feel as shitty as possible. Or it's a person who feels shitty about themselves, who are living a miserable life, not happy at all, or even don't have a life at all. And then they see you, you're bubbly, you're happy every day, you're enthusiastic, you're ambitious, you want to learn new things, you want to do this and that, and they're like, why must I be like this and this person be like this? So they start being negative and making sure that everyone around them is as miserable as they are, is as bitter as they are, because I don't think a happy person can be bitter. Let's agree to disagree on that one. A bitter person is a miserable person. A happy soul will never be bitter in any way. So if someone is convincing you that they are happy, yet they are making other people's lives difficult, they're lying to you. Or it's just something they have in their minds. They're telling themselves they're happy. They're not. If you're happy, everyone around you automatically becomes happy, because they get that aura, that happy aura, that friendly aura, that that happiness gets projected, and it helps other people around you. It's like a magnetic field, right? It just it it affects everything around it within a specific radius of some sort. So for me, as soon as you are here pushing for other people to not be happy, then you probably are as miserable as hell, because your unhappiness is even, you know, getting to other people. And then another thing that I've said, right? I think I wrote it on a status, but I don't think I actually made a video about it. There was a time where I was really not okay, in terms of the workplace and whatnot. And what I realized is that most of the time, what happens is only, not only, but mostly, black people have this mentality of making sure that the next black person is just miserable. But that's just my opinion, right? So what happens is, most of the time, if you report to another black person, your life is just going to be as miserable as hell for whatever reason. And it goes to the VT scenario, where he was saying that we were made to feel in competition with each other, that even when we're not, we are always pushing to be number one. We're always trying to step on other people to get where we are. And then you come across a situation whereby now someone is there, you're not even there, you're not even close to giving them a run for their money in terms of their position, yet they are making your life miserable. What I think, or what I've concluded, is that most black people, not all of them, hear it correctly, most of them, we do not have financial intelligence, or rather, we were not taught anything about finance. Irregardless whether you did a finance course, unfortunately, most of black people do not have financial, I don't know, good standing, if I can call it. We were not taught, we were not exposed to money, and we were not taught how to deal with it. In return, it it gets to a point where, example, a graduate just finished varsity, they're going to start working, for example. You get there, you get that big money, and then when you do, the first thing you want to do is get all the things you wanted to get, which is probably your car that you've always wanted. You want to get, all these clothes that you've always wanted. You want to bowl. You want to show everyone, your clothes, obviously the fancy ones. And then you want to go out and, buy booze and do whatever, whichever way you want to spend your money. It's your money after all. You do as you please with your money that you went to school and studied for, and you wake up every morning to work for. But here where the danger is. When you are like that, you're fresh, you're from school, you've got this paycheck, you've got this clean debt standing, right? Your score is there, it's chilled, you do not have as much debt. They will offer you all these things, right? And you can't afford it, because one thing that we've been seeing people trying to emphasize, and what we've been trying to talk about, is qualifying for things and affording things, right? And the next person that earns the same amount of money can afford what you can afford. As pastors would do, let me repeat myself. Working with the person earning the same amount of money doesn't mean you afford the same things that they do. You don't afford the same things. Never assume that. If my peer is driving, let's say, a Mercedes Benz, whichever model you want, that doesn't mean I afford it. It can mean I qualify for it at the bank, but that doesn't mean I afford the car, because I don't know what other income they have. I don't know what basis they started their lives on, because we can earn the same amount of money only to find that they've got already something they have, or they've got other means that give them money that allow them to afford that type of thing, right? So I'm derailing. What I'm trying to say is that after you've done all these debts, now it's either you keep them or you lose them. It's one of two things. It's either you keep them or they get repossessed. So, human instinct, you're scared. One mistake, you lose this job, you're going to lose all these fleshy things you've got in yourself. So, stupidly enough, you think that harassing everyone else is going to make sure you keep the job. So that's another thing that allows, or enables toxicity, or creates toxic environments at work and wherever, you know because people are just scared. People are scared because they didn't have financial knowledge, and they went and did all these things, which is not a problem because it's things you wanted to do. But timing is very important. Calculation and understanding when you afford it, when do you need to get them. You should get them, but time it and do it properly, calculatedly. So because if you do it without having knowledge or calculation on how you're going to manage it, you're going to be bitter and make sure that you keep that job, and you keeping that job can result in you behaving bad to other people, treating other people bad, you know tarnishing everyone's name just to make sure that your name is looks good, so that you keep that job, of which no one said you must create that debt at the beginning of the place. Like, the person who's enduring your stresses, your financial stresses and all these things, is people who didn't say you must go buy all these things that you were qualifying for but not affording. So that is all I'm saying is that let's just let's get financial knowledge, learn more about it, understand where, as and when do you spend your money, how do you spend your money, how do you save, and all these things, so that we don't end up bitter and whatnot. And then also, let's try and leave our problems by the gate when we come to work. Like, let's just leave our problems by the gate when we come to work and be professionals and whatnot. And then another topic that we said we were going to talk about is toxicity at home, right? So toxicity at home almost talks to the topic we once talked about of family not always being thicker, right? So toxicity at home is, it is you not being able to do what you have to do. It is that one sibling that is said to be known ukuthi unjalo, like ayikho into esingayenza, siyamazi unjalo, like they're like that, when they're being mean and whatnot. Like, it's in their nature. There's no nature that says people must be rude. There's no nature that says people must just isolate themselves as and when and come back as and when. It never works like that. And toxicity means that, if you have things, then people must now bow down to you and do what you want, right? There are toxic people. Some people are called breadwinners, but they're actually toxic people. Right? In what aspect? Those people that are called that, it's a two-way street again. It's either they're nice people or they're just bad people. It's either they respect everyone else or they do not. Why am I saying that? You find that there's a zonke in a household. She has older siblings and whatnot, but because they've got something, then everyone else must now, do what that person wants. Their toxicity goes all the way to everyone else in the household. It disregards every nature that is there, which is adults, being respected and voicing out. everyone depends on that person, therefore that person holds grounds. But that is a topic that I think I'll have to do it on its own, because I think it's a big one and it needs more discussion on it. And then, yeah, guys, I think that is where I would pack it today because of time. But just let me know if you want to have a chat with me and we discuss these things, and so we can share our views. Because one thing I've realized is that as much as I would say these things, it's always easier when there's an interaction, because you get to understand what other people think, and then it becomes a conversation that gets enlightened, and I also get enlightened about what other people think and how they see these things. I'm just talking alone. It's just me saying what I think, but I do not have someone to converse with to say, okay, but this is that, and then like, oh, okay, then we take it from there and we push it to a specific direction, right? So hit me up. We can just continue with this and we see where it gets.